All right. You look beautiful.
So do you.
Hey, Auntys After Dark listeners. I want you guys to absolutely get ready for an incredibly inspiring episode because tonight we have a truly special guest. I know you say that for everybody, but everybody is special to me because we all have special connections. And this woman right here, I affectionately call her my walking Google friend. Her name is Belinda Bennett. I've had the privilege of watching her journey. And when I say she has quite the journey, she has quite the journey. She has gone from when I met her from working from others to finding her unique niche and absolutely breaking barriers in the notary business and coaching and consulting and breaking barriers and just being her. When I say just being her, I am so proud of her for walking in her light. When I say that this woman is one of the greatest examples of healing out loud, I mean it with every fiber of my being and my soul. Belinda and I actually connected through an amazing organization called ACHI, is ACHI. We were paired to teach a budgeting class. You remember that, Belinda?
I do.
They paired us together to teach a budgeting class. That is where we were at that stage. But that pairing, my friends, was truly a setup for a friendship that has stood through so many different moments of joyous. When I say joyous, joyous rebellion, because we're both rebellious in our own little way, but we encouraged each other through that rebellion to break cycles and achieve the goals of becoming our own entity. That means that we're representing us. She is the brilliant founder of Belinda Baker Bennett LLC, my walking Google friend. Let's give a huge Auntie After Dark welcome to Belinda. Let's go. It's tea time. Hey, Belinda.
Hey, Donna.
How are you today?
I am well. I am very happy. I'm blessed to be here.
So, Belinda, I know that you have like a billion and one different things that you can do, but I want to show the viewers how to get in contact with you. So, if you want to get in contact with Miss Belinda after you hear all of the fabulous things that she do, this is how you will be able to contact her, and then she'll drop some other information for you to be able to contact her. But for tonight, we are talking about healing out loud. My friend Belinda, we're going to start with what does it mean to you to heal out loud?
For me personally, to heal out loud is knowing that my past is not my present. To
Mhm.
walk into the essence of who I have become in the now, being able to appreciate all the things I've come through to get to this point that I can confidently stand and not be ashamed of what has happened to get me to who I am right now, because I feel that it is my God Almighty that has allowed me to be in a position where I can stand firm and be positive and love others in a way that can help them heal also out loud.
Yes, I love that. You know what I love about you is that you come from such a vast background. One of those things is, and my daughter Angel relates to you about this because she was so proud to tell you about JROTC. You were in the military before. Can you tell us a little bit about how military life and healing out loud kind of combines together?
That's a very good question. I was actually touching on that with a classmate of mine that I had not seen since graduation.
Hmm.
And I shared her part of my story because many times I would say that I had not really shared to many people all of the different things that I went through in the Army during the time I was there. I was there for 2 years, 8 months. And I can focus on the positive things that really helped me be very, very, again, appreciative. But when I go through some of the dark places, that I feel needs to be shared because I know that as I've looked at media and I hear about my military sisters, how they have gone through some situations they should not have when they're in a position of serving the country. And we as soldiers should have a sister brotherhood to look out for one another. And unfortunately, that's not the case in a lot of situations because you're still dealing with individuals that are still civilian minded and believe in division as
Mhm.
well as sexism to a point where you're fighting them and you're supposed to be focusing on if a war breaks out to fight for them and for everyone else here. When I decided to go to the military, it's because my high school years was not the best. I was a very smart young girl. And at the time, because of a lot of things that I went through when it dealt with bullying,
Mhm.
having bad situations with boyfriends that I thought I had a boyfriend, and things just was really not in my favor when it came to how things came out. And that's another topic for another day.
Mhm.
However, me knowing that, okay, I just need to get through graduation so I can actually go to my next step. Well, I was in 12th grade and I was not living home. I had rebelled against my father and I moved out. I had stayed with a family through a boyfriend and they were very kind and loving. And they told me, you can stay here, but under a few conditions. Now, no matter where you live, you have rules, right?
Right, it's some kind of conditions, honey, I learned that.
And so here I am at the age of 17.
Mhm.
And so I am hearing what those conditions are for me to go to school, um, go to my job because I did find work, and to not get pregnant. Well, I went to school. I had night school that I actually was enrolled in when I lived with them because my homeschool was my homeschool. So this was an opportunity for me to catch up with my credits, and that was going well. I still was a young teenager that mind was all over the place, still trying to find myself.
I mean, what
And I
teenagers
found,
trying to find themselves?
and again, I wanted to do the right thing by them.
Mhm.
And they allowed me to have freedom to just, go to school, come back at a certain time, just to respect the household rules.
Mhm.
However, I had got with someone and he was a much older guy. He was over age 18. Again, I was 17. And we had intercourse once. All right.
Mhm.
That one time I got pregnant. And
You're like, "Dang
because
it,
I
I'm on a good
remember,
roll."
and again, here I am naive,
Mhm.
gullible, because I knew he had at least one child. I happened to see him interact with the child, but I knew that the relationship didn't seem like a wholesome relationship with his young child. But again, I'm just like, he's very cute. Oh my goodness, he's a man. And I was just again thinking this could be great.
Mhm.
Well, again, I'm pretty sure he didn't think in the same regard. It was more of she's a female, she's
Mhm.
willing, why not? And so days, or I should say days and weeks went by and then I realized I haven't had my cycle. Like, okay, let me see
You
what's
like, "Wait a
happening.
minute." Right.
So so in living with this family, they had their granddaughter that they were raising
Okay.
because her mom, she has substance abuse issues. And so
Mhm.
I never met the mother of the young girl, and she was like a little sister, but she was nosy as I don't know what. And I was like, no matter what I do, she's just trying to figure out what you doing, Belinda. And I'm just like, mind your business. Tanisha,
She was that nosy little sister.
couldn't do nothing. Like, she's always somewhere around the corner sneaking, looking. I'm just like, really? Like, mind your business. So I was able to get a pregnancy test.
Mhm.
And after I took it, I was still thinking like today, like, how did this all come about? Did I just not be careful? Because see, I should have thought, all right, if I take this and it shows positive, I need to get rid of this so she or nobody else can see this, right?
Right,
That's
right.
not what happened. So I'm pretty sure I put it in the trash can.
Mhm,
And of course, her being very curious, she is very smart too. So all I know is maybe a few days came by,
mhm.
and then the husband of house says, "Belinda, we need to talk to you."
You like, "Lord."
I didn't know what it was about. So
Right.
I went on with trying to let them know. I just let them know that I needed to I just was there to hear what they had to say.
Mhm.
And it was like, well, the landlord says that you're gonna have to leave because they know that you are now on the lease and we don't want to have to worry about any issues. So you're gonna have to find somewhere else to go to. And you have until they probably gave me like a few days or maybe a week or so. I can't remember. But I do remember calling my mom, and as much as I did talk to her, her thing was like, I just want to make sure you're okay. You're welcome home at any time. Okay, just want to let you know that. I was like, I know. I appreciate it, mom. But this point it was like, yes, mom, I might have to come home. Not wanting to come home because I did not now want to deal with my dad that having to know that I'm pregnant, and I know one of his rules are you're not gonna be pregnant in this house. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. So I had told my mom, I said, this is the situation. I know I have to tell dad. I don't want to deal with this right now. And so her goal was like, I just want my baby and we'll work this out.
That's a mother's
So
love, boy.
and I was sitting in the living room. Her and dad was in their bedroom behind closed doors. And so after they had a conversation, and I know I having to, I don't know the details of everything, but I do recall um, my birthday was coming up because here we are in July. So I did actually graduate. I managed to graduate, and I graduated with my high school class. So that was
Mhm.
the sweet part about it. So I was
Good.
able to get all my credits in, graduate with them, and it was my mom said, "Well, we're gonna take you to the clinic on Friday." And so, I was like I thought I understood what she meant, but we didn't have much more of a conversation after that. So, I was like, "Okay, on Friday." Well, Thursday was my 18th birthday. So, come Friday, that's why I won't ever forget this. We go to the clinic that is in Fayetteville, and apparently when it came to how far along I was further than what I thought. And whatever the payment was, my father had to go leave to get more money to actually be able to have enough for the procedure to happen. That was one of the things that I know for a while I did not really talk about. Uh, Afterwards, I just remember being curled up in the back of the car while my parents were driving me back home, and just me just crying because I'm going through all of these emotions, not really understanding how to actually explain or express it. But to this day, we've never talked about it, my parents and I. And it's just, again, it's nothing, that was odd because we didn't talk about a lot of things that
Right.
we probably should have. And so it was just, what am I doing? What am I going to do now? So I'm like, okay, I still have the military because I still don't want to go to college. And I definitely am not going to stay here because there was nothing as far as work that was ideal for someone coming straight out of high school that I cared to do as far as factory working on the farm. That no, I was done with that. So I connected with my recruiter, and because the procedure was still fairly new, all right, I still had showing in my blood that I was pregnant, and I was not. And it was like, well, you need to give it at least, I think it was about 2 months or something to that degree for me to come back and then go through um, the actual physical to make sure that everything tested out fine. So that's what I followed. They had me on the delayed program or delayed entry programs. It was in, I want to say October's time frame. And so
Mhm.
the delayed entry program has is basically me being able to enlist, but I wasn't going immediately. I was actually going in at the end of the year, which was in December.
Okay.
And so that's how my journey began as far as being in the military is
Wow.
actually going through that situation to actually know that this is my last resort. I need to make sure I go, understanding why I'm going to be there if I'm actually going to serve. And it wasn't to go to college. It wasn't to travel. It wasn't any of those things. It was more of let me do something that I know I can do if I'm going to serve, and protect. What is that all about? And I've seen movies and things of that nature, but nothing preparing me for what I went through under basic training. OMG. I'm like, I'm at home, I'm dealing with my dad that's a very strict man.
Mm.
He's coming from a place of discipline as he was by his dad, and of course, generations before, which was not the ideal of discipline and what child abuse is called now. They have no idea. Okay. So, you talk back, smack, none of
Right,
those, it just didn't
right.
matter. They disciplined us. And I can appreciate, a lot of the toughness and again, understanding later on why my dad was how he was with us children and with my mom for so long. So again, all of those are processes that I had to learn as a woman, trying to still figure some things out when it came to how I operated, why I do the things I do, and how I do the things I do. Because in the military, going through boot camp, which is basic training, I was there for 6 weeks. No, no, take that back. I think that I was there for 8 weeks for boot camp and then 6 weeks for AIT, which was for my career
What's
path.
AI?
AIT is, I don't remember what the acronyms is, which is really bad, but it was a type of training. So just like college, you are going through a major or minor in
Oh,
study.
okay.
Mine was for pretty much administration. I was working in the office, so I was an admin when it came to the position that I actually was working toward. I had to learn how to type proficiently. I learned some when I was in
They don't
high
even do
school,
that anymore, you know
but
that? They don't teach kids
I
how to
know,
type, home row you remember the home row keys and all that
girl,
good
I still use them to this
I
day.
still use them to this
Try to
day.
tell my son, and he's like, "No, mom, I can't do that. That doesn't feel right." I said, "Because you have to train your fingers to
Yeah,
know where it needs to be in the middle to know how to guide to the other letters." So
correct.
I was so good that I could actually just tell you what the letters were as I'm actually,
Mhm. Yeah, like, I'm
So
it's so funny because even now, because I remember my typing teacher used to do this, put something over your hand so you can't see, and you used
yeah.
to have to so it's like, I can type, girl, and doing this with people all over
Yes. Yep.
and be going and knowing exactly what I'm typing with minimal doggone errors, which is kinda funny to me, but these kids will never know that.
Exactly. I mean, it's just one of those things where I wanted to really master typing very well because although in the army I was able to do what I needed to do to actually go to the next level,
Right.
it wasn't a big deal as far as, oh, you have to type 40 words per minute.
Mm,
That happened after I got out of the military, and that was most of the requirements when you're actually doing any type of administrative duties.
right.
They want you to have 40 plus or more. And I was like,
Yeah.
goodness, do I have 40 without any errors? And so I was doing these little tests and I was like, I got to get this down pat.
Yeah.
But again, that's how everything started. I was in Columbia for
Mhm.
my AIT and my basic training. So I was still in South Carolina, in the Carolinas. And then I did my permanent party. And it's called permanent duty in Fayetteville. So I was still in the state. So I really wanted
You
to
stayed in the
actually,
Carolinas when you were in the military.
yeah, I actually chose Fort Bragg to be my duty station. And
Mhm.
everybody was like, what? No one gets what they ask for. They usually have you going overseas. I was like, wow, I'm so glad I'm not going overseas because I want to be able
Like,
to see
you
my
favored,
parents.
honey. Look, you can't be favored, that's one thing. Even in our mess, I be feeling like if you're a chosen one, that favor is undeniable. Like, you could be in your mess, you could be trying to get on your journey, and people be like, "How you do that?" And you be like favor? Look. That's
Right.
it, I'm just
And
home.
again, to this day, I can say it's not me, it was him. So, yeah,
Okay.
that's what I say.
What they say, favor ain't fair, honey.
Again, through all the things went through, I was like, this is the least that could go in my way. So, yeah.
Right. Right, but it sounds like just listen to your story, and I'm so happy that you shared that because that's even a part that I did not know, and that helps me to understand even more how your resilience was built, just from that beginning stages of like, I honestly would say that's probably your beginning stages of your healing out loud because you went through something and then you leveled up to kinda know, like, this is what I wanna do, this is how I'm about to do this is how I'm gonna step from this cycle to this cycle. So now military, you done did it. You did your 2 years, you're out. Tell me what it's like coming out from military life back to civilian life.
It was so different just because the military does have a transitioning thing for soldiers to go through. And it's called the ETS, where you're actually preparing for going back out into the real world, so to speak. And
Wow,
all
so
that
they
really
train
means
you
is
to
the
go back
government
into
no
the
longer
real
owns you. Say one more time.
I said, so they train you to go back into the real world?
There is a counseling that's offered to help make sure soldiers are ready to transition. But I cannot remember the details of that portion
That's okay.
because of how I got out. I had signed up for a 4-year term.
Uh-huh.
Within the first year of me being in the military, I met my husband that was a soldier at the time. Seeing him move from one barrack to another, offered him some help because it started raining and I had an umbrella. So I helped, put the umbrella over his items as he's tattooing it from one side of the building to the other. And he just became that person that I actually talked to and hung out with for a while. And something said to me, "That's your husband." I can't even
Mm,
tell you where it came from, but it was just so profound. And I really took a liking to him because he was so smart. I learned he had 2 children. And I remember it was so clear when I was actually in high school. I said, I do not want to be involved with a man with kids. I want to just
yes.
have that experience of having a child with him and us actually experiencing this all together. All of the little dreams and, starry eyes I was, right?
Players out. You be like, "I don't want this, and don't send me this," and then boom, you like,
Yeah.
"Did you
What in the world? Yeah.
not look?"
And so this is the thing. He
Mhm.
said he did not want any more kids now, maybe later, because he joined the military with this reason of being doing it for his children. When it came to his belief of how the military was formed and the backstory was not within his belief, but because of his upbringing and his environment, he felt that was the only way he could actually put them in the best position possible is
Right.
to join the military. And so I truly was taken about for that because I was just like, wow, this is a man that truly loves his kids. He wanted to find the library. I was like, the library?
The
He was like,
library.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out where the library is near here. So I'll learn a little bit more later
Okay.
about the library. So we went, he had a vehicle. I didn't. So I drove with him. He went downtown, found the library.
Mhm.
It was a very, very short trip to go downtown to come back onto
Right.
base, but that was somewhere he would go just to actually read whatever books he liked to read. And I was like, this is so interesting.
Yeah, you like, you going
He's
to
not saying anything about, going playing basketball or, pool or, clubbing. There was none of
you
those
talking about reading
conversations.
a book. You like, "What? This is different."
Yes, and he was so different.
Yeah,
But again, it was just something about him, even though I was still, just kind of being free,
right.
talking to whomever, because that's who I was. I was just a friendly person and no one was a stranger. So, I just kind of got around to actually meeting some people around the areas.
Mhm.
But yes, we actually met. I was, let me see, AIT. I graduated on April 1st, April Fool's Day,
April Fool.
and
I
so
was
after I
April Fools.
actually was like, "Are they joking on us right now? Are we really going to graduate?" You know what I mean?
Hey, don't play
Because
around with
they would do something like
big
that.
red.
That's how I felt. So we graduate
Mhm.
and we leave maybe a few days later to actually come to Fort Bragg for those that are coming from Fort Jackson.
Mhm.
And so went through, get settled in, and I had like an assignment called not guard duty, where I actually was manning. I was one of three people
Okay.
manning not the army base, but it was
Mhm.
the Air Force base. So I was like the guard when people come in. I have to identify them to give them okay to go in
Okay.
because
So you was
we
like
had to make sure
security.
that area was secure. Huh?
You was like security.
I was that part, yeah. So I was like security for that assignment, and then when I stopped doing that assignment, then it was more of me actually getting acclimated with who I would have to go do a PT with, and all of those things that the military went. So long story short, 6 months later, after meeting him, we got married. All right.
So yeah,
So yeah,
I'm happy you shared that because when you told me that, I was like, "Dang!" And I've been out here for 6 years.
stop. Yes, I got married at the age of 19. And I understood again he had his children,
Mhm.
and I knew they were a package. After meeting his mom and his aunt was like, "Next time I see you, I bet you a ring on your finger." And I was like, and his mom served us breakfast in bed. I was like,
Mine
"This is
was the
so
real MVP.
nice."
Okay.
So it was just one of those things. I was welcomed, and it just felt so good.
Yeah.
His children at the time, though, they were trying to figure me out, like, "Who is this woman?" Like, I'm not trying to be nice with her, so I had to warm up with them over time. Oh my goodness, that was the moment.
I can imagine. I mean, because you took on the beautiful and we know it's often complex role of being a bonus mom. Because I know I have a bonus baby in my circuit right now. And those are can be some joys, but it also can be some complexities and some challenges. So
Yeah,
what you wanna share, girl? You wanna share the joys of being a bonus mommy? You wanna share some of them challenges of being a bonus mommy? Cause baby.
I can tell you guys, I've learned so much over the years of really, so the stubborn part, okay?
Okay.
I have a problem with someone telling me what not to do, depending on how they say it, where
Yeah.
I'm just like, "Really? Okay, so because of that, Imma show you who I am."
And
So I
period.
was rebellious automatically, and I felt it had a lot to do with how my relationship with my father
Right.
all those years ago, because he was more of, "You do as I say, and I'm the man of the house, so what I say you do, and you don't question." And to actually see how he operated with my mom, I was like, "Oh, there's no man gonna be like that with me. Oh, no." Like,
What'd you say? I'm getting
it
the
was just
complete
all in
opposite.
me of, "That's not gonna happen." And
Mhm.
it's because of that, which was a problem, though. So I just again, I thank God, my husband is still with me, because there's times he should just have like, "You are crazy, and I am not gonna be."
My sister and I, we just had our sissy weekend this past weekend. And that's one of the
Yes,
topics
that's
that we
right.
talked about. And we were talking about how the men actually love the crazier women. Like when you show them that bit of crazy, they be like, I love you. You like, so you love my shadow self? Because baby, that's the shadow self. If you love the shadow self, then you definitely gonna love the love and light self. So we can make this work.
Well, it was like, we would look at things dealing with the zodiac signs and seeing that Pisces and Cancer was compatible. So I was
Y'all
like,
got
"Okay, that's a good
Cancer and
sign."
Pisces energy.
We're
Woo-wee.
both water people, right? So we're trying to find some commonality because we're definitely opposites, right? So he is a person who's from New York, from the city. I'm from
You from the South.
Marietta country, and he was older than me, which was not a problem because I always had this attraction to older men. So he was 4 years older than me. And then I tell you, he would say this to this day: had I known how young you were, I wouldn't have even talked to you. And I'm like, what? I never lied about my age.
Right,
And
like,
I
you
don't think
never
it ever came
lied. You
up
know what it was.
because I was good. I handled myself, so there was no reason for him
Right.
to question. I always were more mature in the
Mhm.
way I acted than what my age was. And that's, I guess, it
Right.
has a lot to do with my upbringing.
Right.
But it's like I would never falsify my age because I was okay with my age.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it was
Mhm.
just, again, just that teasing part. But when he got out of the military, because he did his 4 years,
Mhm.
I, on the other hand, again, was not my full term. And it's because we had our child together.
Mhm.
So we did have our son,
Mhm.
and it was a hard pregnancy because I had went through having him early. He was a
Awesome.
preemie, 3 pounds, 1 ounce. And so I had to go through that process of learning how to not only care for a newborn, but a preemie
Creamy.
that was a newborn, and trying to do all the things that most moms want to do for their child with nursing and just actually getting acclimated with motherhood. So um, I went through the process of my son being a preemie, and all of this was new to me. I needed to figure out how to actually be a soldier and
Okay.
a mom, and to actually handle being a bonus mom to um, my husband's son that was with us first. His daughter was still in New York with her grandmother,
Okay.
but the goal was to eventually have them both.
Okay.
So again, I gun ho, like, yeah, we can do this in my mind.
Right.
The reality is, I wasn't ready, 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 ready. Okay. I was, again, at 19 years
You're
old.
19 years
Now
old
turning
being
to
a bonus
20
mom.
when I had my son, right?
Right.
So, and I had to give you the backstory of me having the abortion, because the abortion, because of the procedure of how they removed the fetus, it actually disturbed the way my cervix is. So I cannot at that time carry full term because of that. I did not learn that that was truly the issue, even though I felt in my heart that was why,
Right.
until I asked my doctor for my second pregnancy. And that was 8 years later. Okay. So there's 8 years between my kids. But it was one of those things where I was like, look, I am a strong person. My mom never had no issues. Could it be
Right.
because this is what happened at this time? And the
Mhm.
doctor was like, most certainly. I said, so why didn't anyone ever tell me this when
Right.
they went through my records and me telling them exactly what my history was, and
Right.
them not saying, well, this may be what you might have to actually handle anytime you get pregnant. Like, this is something that I should have known.
Mhm.
I'm looking to you guys to tell me stuff because this is your part. You know what I mean? I'm
Mhm.
still learning.
Right.
Again, me feeling very strongly that was the problem. He came at, I was 31 weeks
Mhm.
when I had him. And again, he was 3 pounds, 1 ounce. He was in a NICU for 30 days, and I was there every day. If anything, what helped me just being motivated and positive to see him fighting to actually just be here was me like, okay, Lord, just bless my milk to be able to produce. I can have it enough for him.
Right.
My body was so responsive that I was just so many containers of milk for my baby. And I was just like so
You was a
joyful to bring
you was
it
over here
to
a human
the
cow.
girl. That's what he was like, oh my goodness, you're like, I forgot. They said something like a cow, but someone else wanted to say, you let them call you a heifer. I was like, no, it wasn't like that. It was the fact
Right.
that I understood, and I was like, "Yes, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I know my baby is receiving." I said, "Like, make sure my son is getting all of my milk. I don't want it to go to another child." She's
Right,
like,
right,
"Ma'am,
right.
it's
You like
okay. He's
beef
gonna
coming
he's
out
gonna drink all your
detox.
milk."
That's funny because, growing up, my mother that was my I don't know where my mother got it from, but that was her little nickname, honey. She would call you a heifer in a minute. Heifer? And it's so funny because, like, I literally for my iPhone, when I plug it up, it says, "I almost died, heifer," because I got so used to being called a heifer that I literally have it saved on my phone when I plug up my iPhone. Like, it say, "I almost died, heifer." Now, you have siblings, right?
Yes, I have 6
Yes.
total.
Where are you in the sibling count? Because 'Cause I'm the baby.
I am the third oldest.
Yes, being the 3rd oldest, and I've told you before, you remind me of my middle sister. Y'all the same sign, and the identity thing. When you have a sibling that's older than you, then you have
Hmm.
siblings that's underneath you. Sometimes that child that have those siblings ahead and below, they go through an identity crisis. Sometimes they don't know
Sure.
who they are because they follow sometimes in the shadow of the older ones. And
Yeah.
then that baby is that baby, and everybody like, "Oh, that's the baby," because I know I got that. "No, that's the baby," or "That baby too grown." So then the middle child is like, "Hey, hello, what's up with me?" Let's talk about that because now you 19, girl, 20
Mhm.
years old, being a mom, you wifey, bonus mom, older sibling. How are you dealing with all of that? Like, how did you find yourself?
It took a while. It took a while because the thing was, when I became married, I took on a different role. Now, wife,
Mhm,
mom, well, bonus mom, and mom.
mm,
Um, shortly after, right? And I'm doing everything I can for everyone, even being a soldier. So my focus was trying to make sure my son was good, our son, I should say, me and my husband,
mhm,
and his son at the time, because he's going through a lot of trying to find where he belongs. He's coming from New York lifestyle to the
the South,
Fayetteville, which again wasn't as, city, but it wasn't that country either.
right,
But he knew no one. Everyone that
mhm,
he knew was up
up
north.
north,
So,
yeah,
and the reason why he did actually stay with us in the beginning was because he was acting out. Now, of course, he has had reasons that I understand now more than before,
right,
of why he was acting out. But it was just again understanding that, or not understanding. Okay, I have this young preteen, but yet he was. When I got married, they were 5 and 6 years old.
okay,
So they stayed with their grandmom for the majority until my husband got custody of them.
right,
And it was just a transition of trying to have a loving home, to actually make sure that, I did my parenting duties of making sure they had something to eat, clothing, all the good things that we normally do. But I think I found myself just going through the motion for
mm,
so long. And it was at a point where I knew I wasn't happy. I could not describe why I wasn't happy. I just knew that I just wasn't wanting to do anything, but I pushed myself because I had to do it for the sake
right,
of making sure my family was good. Even
right,
though my husband was doing his, again, 19, we really are still growing. And to know that your mind is not mature until you're 25.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, let's think about that for a moment.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I truly let that settle in because you were being like, you literally were embodying a grown woman persona, and you were not yet grown.
right, yeah.
Yeah, in the
So I
eyes now in the United States, legally, they say 18, you're grown.
Yeah,
But that's all it is that age deems you grown. But maturity-wise, I don't care how mature you are not ready for this real world.
and that was one of the things I fought. Other people was like,
Mhm.
"What you know about being in love? You're too young to know about being in love." But I was like, again, don't tell me how
Right.
I
What I
feel.
know. Right.
And I'm like, here I am protected. I'm in a position that I'm serving and protecting our country. If we go to war, and you're gonna tell me I don't know what love feels like? Like, who are you? You don't
Like, who
know
are you to
me.
tell me that? You like,
And I
"You don't
think
tell me nothing that" look, you can't tell me nothing, boo. I know what's going on with me. I love that. That's the one thing that we bonded about is our rebellion.
once again, don't tell me certain things like, "Nah, that might
Hey.
be you."
Okay, because as soon as you tell me, Imma be like, watch me now."
And
Oh, I
that was
can't?
the thing. I had to prove whomever dared or made me feel
Mhm,
like I couldn't. Okay,
mhm.
Imma prove you wrong. That's always
Right.
been the thing for me. Yeah, that was always my drive, competition. That was a challenge. "Oh, you gonna bring a challenge
Okay,
my way? Let me prove you."
challenge because I'm down for it. Now, I know with even those challenges, one thing I know about the both of us is both of us have journeyed from what the world might deem as poverty. Like, I know I came from the projects. I know I came from government cheese.
Girl, that
I
government
came from food stamps. I know I came from food stamps, all of that, to where as I got older, I was determined, like, I don't wanna live in poverty anymore, and I still to this day, poverty is a mindset, I tell people all the time, it's a
yeah,
mindset, and unfortunately for some of our generations, they were like that poverty mindset kinda handed down from generation to generation, and
yeah.
then it to us, and we decided that we were what? Breaking
Break the
that.
chains.
Okay. We breaking through that bad baby. But that journey from that poverty mindset to middle class, I guess it's middle class now. I don't know because we might be right
No, I
back
looked
into the
into that.
bracket.
No, I looked it up over the weekend, and, they said that middle class is here in North Carolina,
Mhm.
households making 62,000 above. So I was like,
Okay.
"Oh, okay, yeah,
So we made it.
yeah.
We did. So glad we made it. So like that alone is a huge, huge, huge thing. Like I looked at that like I know for me, sometimes I'll pick up when someone is like, I can't afford that. Or if someone says, that's not in my budget. And knowing that you and I came from that budgeting mindset, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that transition from poverty mindset to where you now like, it's okay for me to be able to spend. How does that feel? And how does that fit with healing out loud?
Oh my goodness."
I know, right?
It
Here I
definitely
go.
connects. It connects, on so many levels because when you're thinking about just getting by, you're feeling like you're just not gonna be able to have what you wanna have for the sake of someone else. And because since the age of 19 going into 20, I've always had to consider someone else before me. And it was more of, I will do what I have to do for them because it's
Mm,
not about me. Now that part I did get, okay?
right.
Even though there was times I just wish I'm just like, "Oh, this is not fair. I can't do the things I want for me because I have to do for them first."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so to actually know how that mindset shift, it was something that I know that I had to will it to be because not to say it's coming from me per se, but it's things that I prayed on where I was just like, there's got to be a better way. Because I saw my parents go through that. Here, I come from a lifestyle where we had no indoor plumbing for all of my preteen years. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to actually know how life was heated, cooking by a burning stove
Uh-huh.
or I should say burning heater that we call a stove and a heater because everything was warmed up by that actual heater, which is one of the reasons why I dealt with the bullying at school because my clothes always smelled like firewood. And even though I dressed nicely, it was the fact that I know that however my household smelled, it was in my clothing. And
Right.
so I've always had those issues where they always made me feel like I wasn't good enough because I wore rejects and all these other things that they speak on. But my parents always was there. We were rich in family. We never did without. My father, he made sure, and my mom that we always again ate. We had clothes on our backs.
Right.
We went through washing clothes by hand. A lot of things that many people would hear about their grandparents or great grandparents. I
Right.
lived through that. So me understanding so young that this is part of life. Everybody has a responsibility as a household.
Uh-huh.
That formed me of me being able to appreciate the fact that me having children, I didn't want them to go through the same things. So I
Right.
coddled them more than I should have because I didn't want them to feel like they had to grow up too soon. And so, it was one of those things where I wanted so much more for them in that respect of living and enjoying childhood. And I enjoyed my childhood just because I remember, playing with my brother that is a year behind me. We have the same birthday. So, us being able to play, he was my twin. Okay. He was my birthday gift. That's what I tell my mom. And
Mhm,
so, we were really, really close. But there was a part about being in the shadow. My shadow, I was in the shadow of my sister that was 4 years older than me because I looked so much like her and we sound so much alike. Where throughout my high school experience, everyone who knew my sister, it's like, oh, that's Gloria's sister. Yes. And I got to a point I'm like, I have a name, guys. It's Belinda. It's Belinda.
mhm.
And so she went off to a different school because her academics were so high that she left during her junior year. So her junior and senior year was spent at a different school altogether. So
Oh,
I
wow.
eventually did not have her shadow anymore. So it was just one of those things where when to have my identity of who I am as Belinda Bennett.
Mhm.
Okay. I took my husband's last name, but still people learned who I was. And this happened, I would say within the last maybe 10 years where I feel like I had more of a voice of my own. That I stepped into me not being like somebody else, but being Belinda who has been able to help other people start their businesses, answer
Right.
questions that most people would just come to me in different areas from childhood, from my parents, my family members. Belinda, can you help me with this? Can you tell me that? And it got to a point where, like you say, oh, my Google friend, I never owned that word until it was like, I have to embrace it now because that was part of who my identity was. Someone, if you want to know something, if you need some help, Belinda will help you. Belinda will figure it out. And it was just, again, that's part of who I am. I believe in finding out what the answer is.
And that's so beautiful because Belinda, Imma tell you, the most proud moment that I had is because I've been calling you my walking Google friend for since I met you. When we connected and you were like everything, answer, answer, answer. And I'm like, that's my Google friend right there. Somebody got a question, I'll be like, I know somebody that can answer that. Hold on, girl, let me hit her up and
Yeah.
I'm about to hit you back because I know. But the proudest moment for me is that you are now teaching others that same Google techniques, those same it's so full circle for you. Like, that's why you're such an amazing woman to me. Like, just hearing your story, like, I know your story, but just to hear you telling it on this platform so that others can actually heal from it, because I know it's so many women that's gonna be able to resonate with so many parts of your story. That is such a beautiful thing because now you're a mompreneur. You are now a Gigi ma, a grandma. What's your nickname? Because nobody want to be grandma no more.
I'm grandma. I
Oh,
don't mind. Yes, I'm grandma.
thank you, thank you. I can't say that I would be the same. I ain't gonna lie, and I'm hoping that it don't happen till I'm about 70. Like,
Right,
let's
right, right. I feel you.
start doing that. That I think is so beautiful. It's a testament of how healing out loud, owning your voice, because that's definitely what you did when you were like, I'm stepping out of the shadows for my sister. My name is Belinda. And I could resonate with you with that because, like, my sister is 6 years older than I am. My brother is 8 years older than I am. My brother and sister were known for basketball, both of them. They played basketball,
Okay.
right? So when I was coming up, and my sister and my brother, they have my mother's maiden last name. So their last name is Lily. And I have of course, the married name because my mom was married to my dad. And so as I started getting older, I wasn't Donna. That's little Lily, or that's Aunt's sister, or that's Ava's sister, or that's Lily's sister. But I was not Donna. And I think that that caused a lot of rebellion from me because I wanted to be in my own lane. You know what I mean? Like, I was happy when my mother had me going to different schools. And then when it got to high school, it was only two choices. My sister went to Hartford High, which is on one side. My brother went to Weaver High. So I had choices of going to one or the other. But either way, whose shadows was I going to be in?
Yeah,
My
either
sister,
one.
my brother. And so I went to Hartford High. And of course, at Hartford High, I was in the shadows of my sister, and they're looking at my height, and they're like, "Oh, she's gonna play basketball like her sister." Psych. I wanna be on a drill team. I was my sister's cheerleader. I know I might have got the legs, but I don't wanna be out there. I don't wanna play basketball with these girls. Like, what I wanna do is I wanna be like, "Let's go. Come on, team. Let's go." That was one of the ways for me that I step out of the shadows from my siblings, is I literally just kind of forged my own lane, and I'm so proud of you for doing that, because, like, people sometimes never come out of the shadows of their siblings. They never come out of the shadows of somebody else, and they never truly understand what healing out loud is, and you are embodying it. Oh my god. So, with all that being said, because I can give you your flowers all day long because you are just so amazing to me. I love, love, love you. I love this woman to like my soul. My voice. So you're a true testament of healing out loud. So for all of our listeners, if they say, Belinda, what is the one thing that you want us to take away from your healing out loud journey? What would you tell them?
Well, I think I began with my story as far as I'm not the same person as I was in my past, but
Mhm,
my past is what who formed who I am now. And to take all the good, bad, and the ugly, and to know that it all was molded into someone that is who I want to become.
mhm,
I often say, if you can change something, stop complaining about it. So become the change that you seek. That's
mhm,
what I did for me. And that's what I did for my community. And that's why I am who I am as far as people being able to rely on me, my knowledge, my experience, my expertise, and what I'm able to assist them with. That now I can put a price on it. And I know that that is my superpower, where I have allowed my gifts to be
mhm.
my gifts, to
Yeah.
actually know that I can actually share those with others with the exchange of them compensating me
Mhm,
for what it is that I'm able to assist them with without me feeling as if though I am not getting my worth because I'm working for someone, a company that I'm not giving my best because that's not where my strengths lie when it
mhm,
comes to how I can truly help others.
mhm.
And it's the passion that I feel when I'm able to know that, thank you because you helped me. I did not know what to do. It's simple things that I see for myself, but I can see other people struggle. I don't want them to struggle if I can actually help them. And it doesn't always have to be a compensation of money for me helping them. I feel that, and I know it's not just
Thank
feeling.
you.
I know that my blessings continue to come because I'm coming from a giving heart. I want to see others succeed.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what your path was, it's about where you're going now and how you
Mhm,
can stay on that straight path to your brilliance. So that is why I am thankful for you having this platform for me
mhm,
to share part of my story with other women who are moms, who are bonus moms, and knowing that you are powerful. You deserve love in yourself and you deserve to be confident in the woman that you are and how you can actually be that example for the other women and young girls that can look up to you and say, I want to be like her one day. When
mhm,
you
and
hear someone say that,
mhm.
you know that you're doing something good.
Yes.
And that's what I know for a fact. I am here standing, about to hit my 50th year mark
Okay.
from a little girl that didn't think that she was gonna make it to 25. So yeah, this is a big deal for me.
Oh my god. That is a beautiful way to end this segment right here because I know where you come from. I mean, we could probably have part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5 from every single thing because I know personally, and I'm gonna share this. One thing that really stood out to me is when you started talking about expunging your record. And I was like, expunging your record, girl, what? Not you, not my walking Google friend. But that just goes to show how evolution and change is for real. Like when people tell someone they can't do it and they really stay in that rebellion that they say and they continue to say, no, I can do it. That's why I so honor you and is inspired by you because you have gone through so many things. And to be the woman that's over here sitting right now and being able to share your story and knowing how many people you have helped along the way, even people probably you didn't even realize you have helped. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I know even with some of the connections that I've made and just had people talk to you one time, they still come to me and be like, yo, your one friend, what's her name? I think she knows everything. And I'd be like, "You talking about Belinda?" They like, "Yeah, how she." So you leave an impression on people no matter where you are. And I want to say thank you so much because of your incredible ways, because of your honesty, because of your wisdom, because of you being my walking Google friend. You actually helped me to see the power within me. Like those encouraging words that you have shared with me when you have shared your truth with me, you allowed me to be able to share my truth too. Because, man, it is something when you can just sit with someone and be truthful, be honest, be free, be who you are, and they
Yeah.
encourage you to continue to be who you are. So, for that, I thank you. I thank you for sharing that with everyone who is listening and on their Healing Out Loud journey. So until next time, tea time, we're going to close this one out because I feel myself getting emotional because this is just such a beautiful moment. But until next time, tea time, if you want to contact Belinda, her information is there. I'll share it with you one more time. This is how you can contact her on the website. She is an abundance of wealth of wisdom and knowledge. So you definitely want to hit her up. And if you missed the website, then contact me, DM me, and I will shoot you all the contact information to get in contact with her. So again, thank you for joining us on Auntys After Dark. And until next time, tea time.
Thank you.
I support you. Yay!